All right. Good morning, everybody. And I am live. All right, I'm back on my morning groove, I think, here. And I thought that I would come in and have a real quick conversation with the ladies regarding the type of men that we should be dating, especially if you are a dark skinned sister. And I know a lot of this has been kicked up by the recent viral video with Kevin Samuels telling a dark skinned woman that she is average at best. And it got me to thinking a whole lot about Black women and the dangers that we face, especially if you're dark skinned, of dating a guy before he is well established. So before I do that, I do want to say good morning to everybody. Today is Wednesday, December 9th, and it is 2:39 a.m. in Phoenix. And it's pretty chilly out here too. I think the temperature is in the low 50s, and that's pretty cool for us. But during the day is in the high 70s. So when that sun comes up, it's nice, sunny, bright, and nice breezy days, breezy, sunny days out here in the daytime. But not so much at night. At nighttime is pretty chilly. But at any rate, back to the topic. So, like I said, yeah, listening to the whole Kevin Samuels debacle that he had with the dark skinned Black woman and him telling her that she doesn't qualify for what she wants because she's average looking, got me to thinking, you know, it's real easy for non Black women and women who are just light skinned, who are typically most Black men's preference. It's a lot easier for those women to date men with what we call what do we call it? They have a potential. Men with potential. It's a lot easier for those women to date the men with potential than it is for the dark skinned Black woman to date the man with potential. And the reason why is because we always run the danger of being the come up woman. So Black women who are dark skinned, it is not to our benefit to date the guy with potential. And I know that this sounds pretty harsh, but not as harsh as being the come up woman, not as harsh as these guys using mostly dark skinned Black women as placeholders, as practice, as they like to call it, until they get what they really want. So, in the grand scheme of things, what does it benefit the dark skinned Black woman to date men with potential? It benefits us nothing, nothing at all. Because as soon as we get the guy with potential, we're nice. We say, you know what? It looks like he's going to school and he's doing his best, and I'm just gonna love him and give him everything that a woman should give a man, only for him to turn around and tell you that you're average at best. And now that he is high value, or thinks he's high value, or thinks he's made it, now that he's made it in his eyes, he's going to now leave you for his real preference. And that is someone who is racially ambiguous, light skinned, or not Black at all. So now we have Black women, especially dark skinned Black women. We're at an impasse here. What do you do? Do you continue to date men with potential, hoping that this isn't the case? Hoping and praying that you're not the next come up woman for this guy? Or do you get smart about it and say, hey, you know what? This is the society and the world that we live in. And since we want to keep it real and we want to keep it 100, We're going to keep it a buck. Why don't we keep it all the way 100? Hmm? Why don't we tell the truth to these women and tell them, hey, sis, you know what? If you're black, get back. But if you're bright, damn near white, you're all right. And that is how our people have operated for hundreds of years. So, sis, it would behoove you to only date men who are already established. And I say this with nothing but the utmost love and respect because I don't, in my opinion, all sisters are sisters. I don't want to create a color divide with the sisters, but let's just be real. There is a difference in how we are treated out here in these dating streets. There's a difference. And I'm not saying that a black man will not use a light skinned woman as the come up woman. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that it is more likely to happen with dark skinned women. That's just the honest truth if we want to be brutally honest. And here's the thing about being brutally honest. It's okay for us to be brutally honest with black women when we are dragging them. It's okay for us to be brutally honest with black women when we're telling them that they're less than. But why is it not okay for us to be brutally honest with black women when we're trying to actually give them advice that will help them in the long run? Because to me, the advice has been pretty much lopsided, where a lot of times men are only telling you bad things about yourself to tear down your self esteem so that you can make decisions that are not in your best interest. But how come they don't tell you advice and give you all your options so that you are strategically making decisions that actually work out for you? And yes, I'm going to say it again. If you're a dark skinned woman, it is not to your benefit to date men based off potential. It's not to your benefit. Not saying that I'm going to tell you what to do. You do what you want to do. But here's the advice, you can take it or leave it. And my advice is date them when they're already established, because that means that if you're dating a guy when he's already established, there's no come up option. Okay, you're less likely to be used as the come up woman if he's already established. What is he coming up from? If he's already established, then you are his preference. He's not looking at you as the come up woman because he's already gotten his ducks in a row. So now the only thing that he's looking for is that woman to complete what it is that he's already established. So if he's already established who he is as a man, who he is in his career, who he is as far as his influence, and he doesn't need you for any of those things, then baby, he's with you because he wants to be with you at this point. There is no other reason than just he wants to be with you. So dating the man while he is already established makes perfect sense, especially for the dark-skinned black woman. This way, you will bypass all of that bullshit as far as these come up dudes using you as a placeholder, because the women that they desire are not checking for them because they don't got the bag yet. Let's just be honest. Make it happen. Manny says, I wouldn't advise any woman to date for potential. Date for your individual benefit as a woman, whatever that is for you. Exactly. Make it happen, Manny. And I would say that this would be for any woman, regardless of your color, but especially if you are a dark skinned woman, because we are the ones that are most likely used as the come up woman. They say that you're practiced. And it's the same thing if you are a woman with children, if you're a single mother. See, these guys have pretty much gone onto this social media and they ran their mouths. They pretty much told you how they would treat a certain demographic of women. But you all don't take the information and use it to your benefit. Instead, I see a lot of you taking the information and internalizing how could I say, you're internalizing the abuse of language and becoming pick me's and pick mishas instead of internalizing the abusive language and taking from it that these are the type of guys you need to avoid. And see, a prime example of when being a pick misha goes wrong and when looking for validation from toxic men goes wrong is exactly what happened in that Kevin Samuels video with that dark skinned sister who called into his show looking for validation. And he gave her his ass to kiss. So why not just cut out the middleman? We can stop all the foolish games, all the lies by protecting ourselves on the front end. And you protect yourself on the front end, ladies, by not lowering your standards, like what Kevin Samuels was telling this sister in his video that she only qualifies for an average man. No, don't lower your standards. Instead, you go where you are celebrated, and instead, you get with the men who are already established, and instead, you expand your options outside of this losing dating pool that we as Black women find ourselves stuck in with Black men. Because trust and believe, they are telling us every day how they put themselves first. They're telling us every day how they get their passports and they go outside of the country to go with foreign women because they think that that's the better option for them. So if every day these men are telling you what they do for their best interest, why not you do what is in your best interest? And how about you don't take advice from men who you know don't like you? Because that's the same as you taking advice from your enemy. Your enemy don't like you, but you're going to go over there and try to get validation from them and get advice from your enemy. These men are not acting as your friend, they are acting as your enemy. And I'm not saying all of these men are, but the ones that have these talking points are not your friend. The ones that treat you like this, they are your enemy. Period, point blank. There's no in between. And where we get caught up in is we think that all skin folk are kinfolk. So we look at these Black men, oh, he's Black like me, we have the same phenotype. Surely there must be an inkling of love for his own women that look like him. No, sis. No. Unfortunately, a lot of these men have shown themselves to be exactly what they are, and they are traitors. They are treasonous, and they are enemies. Great Britain says no. A finished product is a major league basketball player, dope dealer, pastor in women's eyes, someone with access, wealth, and power who has access typically to many women openly. Once again, Great Britain, I am going to have to throw out the BS on your comment because men will sit up here and tell you not to go after the established guy while being an unestablished guy and using you as they have openly stated many times online for sex and practice if you're a single mother or especially if you're a dark skinned woman. They have openly said this. So am I supposed to believe you or my lying eyes on what I have heard over and over again being regurgitated? And see, you can't unsay once it's been said. You can't undo once it's been done. You know, your brethren have been on here pretty much setting the preface for the pump and dump plan. And the pump and dump plan includes pumping and dumping women who have a certain phenotype and who are single mothers. So it would behoove me not to warn these ladies that, you know what, you cannot give any of these guys any leeway. It is to your best interest to wait until they are established because they are saying these things and you don't know who is who. Stranger danger, Great Britain. Stranger danger. Pretty Black Magic says, Faith, black women are told you have to be race loyal no matter what. I don't need approval from a race of men who have told black women that we don't want you or need you. It's a hell no for me. Exactly, Pretty Black Magic. And that's the attitude that we are all going to have to take, unfortunately. You know, I love my race, I love my people, and I am black first. You know, if I could do anything black first, I will. However, being that we have a large number of people in our group who are self hating, being black first can be detrimental to your mental health. I'm going to say it again. Seeing that we have a large group of self hating Negroes in our race, being black first can be detrimental to your mental health because the mind fuck is real when you are so pro black and you're black first and you find out that this nigga hates you worse than a white supremacist. When you find out that their niggerish talking points sounds very close to KKK members. That's a mind fuck. And you running around being race loyal women to these type of Negroes. Great Britain says all of the manosphere isn't a monolith. Kevin Samuels doesn't push, pump, and dump. Ramil Amir does. So why does all the manosphere have to wear that? Well, the reason that is, and I'm going to answer that question, Great Britain, the reason why black women have to be wary of all is the same thing that I stated earlier. Stranger danger. So because we don't know all black men, but there is a large number of you who are self-hating, then we have to act accordingly. We have to protect ourselves and our emotional well-being at all costs now. Because not enough of you have gotten in their ass to silence them or get them straight. And since we got a bunch of Negroes running around here with the issue of hating black women, well, black women have now got to start looking out for ourselves. And criticism isn't hating Great Britain. However, It depends on what type of criticism. When the criticism is constructive and coming from a loving place, and we all as adults know when it's constructive and coming from a loving place, that's different. But what Kevin Samuels was doing in the instance with this woman that he was speaking to, that was not coming from a loving place at all. As a matter of fact, he was purposely trying to tear her down. And I want to bring Exhibit A to the forefront. Do you all remember when the avatar, Jessica X, appeared on his show? I want you all to take note that she did not have to cam up when she came onto Kevin's show. And he spoke to her very, very differently than he spoke to any other woman that appeared on his show. So this lets me know that he does know how to be cordial, that he does know how to conduct himself in a civil manner with women when he wants to. But when it comes to certain types of women that come into his show, he will throw their face all on the camera. And these are certain women with a certain dark skin phenotype. And he will tear down their looks, tell them they are not worthy of anything, and then curse them out towards the end. What about that is constructive? Everything that he did to that young lady was hateful. I'm just going to be honest. And since we all like to sit up here and say that he was just keeping it real and keeping it brutally honest, well, why can't you accept my critical assessment of what he did with this young woman? Why can't you accept me being brutally honest that he was being hateful, not not giving criticism in a loving and helpful manner to this woman? He was not. So Great Britain, the gaslighting, you can go somewhere with that. You can go somewhere with the gaslighting. Pretty Black Magic says, correct, Faith. Messica X is what they love because she's a half breed. Exactly. And see, we can be completely and brutally honest about that. That is the reason why I decided to fire up this live stream tonight. Because Black men do know how to be loving, they do know how to give good advice, they do know how to speak in a respectful manner to certain women when they want to. The same way that they know how to uh, offer commitment, the same way that they know how to be good fathers to women that they deem worthy. Now, over and over and over again, they have shown a certain phenotype of Black women that they're not worthy. They tell this certain phenotype of Black women that they're average at best. They tell this certain phenotype of Black women that they're not qualified for anything but an average Joe. Meanwhile, avatars with biracial pictures are given the royal treatment. So, once again, should I believe you or my lying eyes and ears? Mela says, unfortunately, hating on dark skinned Black women is in style for some strange reason. Yeah, it's been in style and it's not going to change anytime soon. So, since we know this, the strategy should be, if you're a dark skinned Black woman, do not date men for their potential. Date the men who are already established. Cut out the middleman, cut out the guesswork. That way, you're going to run into more men who are with you for you and not a come up. Do not be the come up woman any longer. Do not be the practice the JJ any longer. You know what? I don't listen to Sherazad Ali, Great Britain. I don't even know who she is. So I can't speak on her. Don't know her. Hat she, what is this? Hatshepsut one says, if you look at that video and don't realize that he was being verbally abusive, you are part of the problem. It has been proven for the past 30 years that black men have a hierarchy of women they prefer. Exactly. And another thing, he was shaming her for her education and her career accomplishments. She was very, very proud that she had made it to being a six-figure woman, and she was simply asking, how can she attract a man in the same financial category as she? And here's the thing, a lot of men will sit up here and say your looks matter. They don't care about your money, they don't care about your education. But this is not true for the high value men. A lot of high value men do care about the woman's pedigree. It's called pedigree. And part of the pedigree is your intelligence. Most of these men do not want to be with dumb women because most of these forward thinking men, if the man is forward thinking and he's thinking with his head, not just the little head in between his legs, he understands that the woman is the first teacher of his children. So it will behoove him not to get with a woman that has a well rounded pedigree. So if you have education, and this was, and I'll tell you, in the past, even when you go to foreign countries, like Africa, for instance, a woman's dowry actually increases in Africa if she is educated, because that means that she can teach the children that you have with her a lot better than a woman who is not educated. And the same thing applies here. If your pedigree is of a low caliber, these high value men are not going to be checking for you because they can't take you nowhere. I'm going to say it again. If your pedigree is of a low caliber, these high value men really aren't going to be checking for you but for sex. And that is it. They're not going to offer commitment because they're not going to be able to take you anywhere, and they don't see any value in you as far as having offspring. So let these men gaslight you if you want to about you not the education not mattering. Let them gaslight you if they want to. Great Britain says I need to see check stubs, bank statements, or tax returns that prove anyone is a six-figure earner. I can prove mine. Well, that's good for you, Great Britain. If you can prove that, that's wonderful. But what type of man are you? See, all money ain't good money, and that's the other thing. High value does not mean that you are how can I say, doesn't mean that you are high quality. You might have high value as far as money, but you're a low quality individual. And that's the other thing too, ladies. All money ain't good money. If you If you're looking at a man just for his paycheck and you're not checking out his character, you're not checking out what type of man he is, you might be getting with a child molester. You 18 and he 50, and y'all start having kids, and then he started looking at the children too because you starting to age out of his preference. So all money ain't good money. Look at that character of the person. Usually men that are in their 50s looking at girls that are 30 years younger than them, there's a psychological issue there. There's a psychological issue with that person, and I would not trust him around any young women or young man either in my family, let alone my children. There's a huge psychological disconnect there. Exactly. Hatshepsut one says the definition of high value includes character, not just a big statement. And see, this is what a lot of these men don't want you to realize. They don't want you to see. They don't want you to intelligently make the assessment of what it is that you should be looking for in your quest for the bag. Getting the bag isn't the most important thing because you might be setting yourself up for hell if you get with a low quality individual. There are plenty of rappers and ball players that got a lot of money, but a lot of them are low quality individuals. They're womanizers. Tiger Woods, they're gay. Look at all these gay male rappers propping up on the scene. Some of them even boasting about how they would molest little children. All money ain't good money. But if you are a dark skinned woman, keep all of these things in mind. Do not lead with your education. Your education is important. I did state that. But what a lot of Black women do is we make the mistake of leading with our education. There are so many other things that is way, way more, how can I say, it's about attraction in the beginning. Your education is important. There's something that you also bring to the table besides being attractive, besides being a good woman, being feminine, and all the other things that these men gripe about all day online. So when these guys ask you what else you bring to the table besides your vagina, then that's when you start pulling out. Hey, I am an intelligent woman. I'm educated. I have this, that, and the other under my belt as a hobby. I earn this amount of money. I know how to invest. I know how to save. I have good credit. These are other things that you bring to the table besides your vagina and just being feminine and a decent woman, which are basically should be just be the norm. Those are things that it should just be the norm. The very things that they try to shame you for. Yeah, those are the extras that you bring to the table. So I would not lead with my education or my income if I was a woman. I would treat it like it was an extra, if that makes any sense. Dark Quasia says high value man has money, high quality man has intellect, morals, and character. Highly spiritual man has spiritual growth. Exactly. And Hath she puts one says, lead with your femininity. Any man asking what a woman brings to the table is a man you want to run from. They are bitter and ignorant. Yes, exactly. Exactly. But they will tell you in a minute that your education means nothing until until it comes time for them to blame you for the condition of how these black children are being raised. Then all of a sudden you're stupid and you don't teach these kids nothing. See, peep the double talk, ladies. Peep the double talk. So, don't listen to these self hating, misogynistic, abusive, toxic men any longer because you'll be damned if you do and damned if you don't with those. But only give your attention to the intelligent, high value, and high quality men with the emphasis on the word intelligent. Insane. Because a lot of these brothers on here ain't sane. When you see these guys on here talking out both sides of their mouths, on the one hand, oh, your education don't matter. But then on the other hand, you black bras, y'all ain't teaching these kids nothing. That's insanity. It does matter. To most high quality men, it does matter. They don't want a stupid doorknob for a woman, not a wife, not somebody that they're procreating with and creating life with. Most of them don't. Not saying that there aren't some who do, but most of them do not. You have to be able to hold an intelligent conversation. You have to have a certain pedigree where your mannerisms are such that they can take you places and introduce you to their family and business colleagues. And you definitely got to have a head on your shoulder to do any of that. So the gaslighting is real and they will definitely try it. But in 20 in 2000 I'm in 2021 next year, I'm going to need black women to be critical thinkers. I'm going to need black women to have more love, self-love for ourselves. I'm going to need black women to be selfish. And I'm going to need black women to stop listening to toxic black men and looking to them for validation. When these men can sit up here and turn a blind eye to the abuse that you are experiencing, and they have no pushback for the men that exhibit this abusive behavior, they should be invisible to you. You should not be running to them for advice. Exactly, pretty black. She says, yup, Faith, these niggas act like they don't have any flaws or can do no wrong. Exactly. In Great Britain, I just want to say congratulations to Great Britain because Great Britain has a wife that he's been with since 2002, yet he finds time to be online to gaslight. Everybody give Great Britain the slow clap. Pretty Black says, Faith, it will take a few generations to get Black women on code. It's a slow process. Yes, sis. And like I said, this is the reason why every voice in this sector is needed. And here's the other thing too. Not only should we stop listening to toxic Black men, but we're also going to have to, in 2021, as Black women, we're going to have to let go of these dusty ass toxic Black women that some of us like to listen to on these online as well. Some of these women are bitter, and all they want to do is trauma bond. And they pretend that they have the best interests of Black women at heart. But then, as soon as you displease them in any way, they turn into Black female haters, worse than any of Black female hater that you would have heard on social media. They're also calling you fat. They're also talking down on your looks. They're also saying that you're Black and you're ugly. They're talking about weave and makeup. They're sounding and having the same talking points as a lot of these toxic Black men when they're mad. So pay attention to women that have these types of attributes and steer clear because they are not the friend of Black women. I was once subscribed to a woman who fit this bill. I will not say her name on this stream because that's free publicity, but just know that I had to get the hell away from her. And I realized it right away when every broadcast was her beefing with somebody, or if she falls out with a sister, that sister hair, makeup, and body, she's body shaming. I just recently saw one of her videos where she was body shaming another woman, another Black woman, and this woman was actually posting pictures of her weight loss journey. And that just turned me all the way off. But you got sisters out here that will do it. Won't they do it though? Won't they do it? And so you got to be smarter. You got to look at actions because, see, one thing that I hate about the sistering is that we get caught up on the words that a person says, but we don't never look at actions. Actions speak louder than words ever can. A person can tell you that they are the friend of Black women until they turn blue in the face. But what are their actions showing? People like Derek Jackson. These are people that will say anything to get your money. Yeah, they'll say anything to get your money. But as soon as their money goes a little flat, then you'll start to hear what they really think about you. And then if you do a little research into their personal life, you'll see that they have not been treating their Black wife or their Black children very well. So it's always buyer beware, stranger danger. Do what is in your best interest. Be selfish. Because I'm telling you, there are people in our community, Black people in our community, that are so selfish and so self hating that they don't give a damn how they get to their ends as long as they get to it, and they will use you to get there. So if everybody else is being selfish, why can't you? And I'm not saying that you got to be a mean girl at all. Actually, it's not being mean, looking out for your own best interests. But what I am saying is sometimes you got to know when to tell these Negroes to go fuck themselves unapologetically. Sometimes that is necessary, and lose no sleep over it. But now I'm sitting here in this yard and it's about time for me to get my day going. But I did want to come in real quickly and send this message out to my sisters, especially to my dark skinned sisters, and especially to those beautiful women who are the single mothers raising 70% of our children. You deserve better. And that's the other thing, real quick before I go. We are so abusive to the very people who have to raise the next generation. We sit up here and we tear down the very women who are raising the next generation and give them no respect whatsoever. We are the only group of people who do not rally around our parents. And I don't care whether you be a single parent or whether you're married parents or if you're grandparents raising grandchildren or if you're a step parent, foster parent. If you're raising a black child, you deserve more respect because that is the next generation. And we have got to start rallying behind our parents more. Stop tearing them down. 50% of our women are raising 70% of our children. So it would behoove us not to support these people who are raising the next generation. I don't see the value in lowering the self esteem of those that are raising the next generation. Because now, if this person is not mentally there, how can they be mentally there for our next generation of people that they are helping to raise? If anything, we should be giving them the tools to be the best parents that they can be to the next generation. Stripping people down, tearing them down, shaming them all the time, talking down on them, that is not going to help them raise the next generation to do better. And once you know better, you can teach better. Not just do better, but once you know better, you can teach better. And I'm in no way saying that we need to glorify single motherhood. I'm not saying that at all. But there is no benefit in tearing these people completely down either. Education is key. All other groups educate as well as, let people know that the behavior is not appropriate. There's nothing wrong with, letting people know that there is inappropriate behavior going on. But but without the education, without giving people solutions, then all you're doing is just tearing the person down and making it harder for them to raise the next generation. So these are things that we do need to keep in mind. But I'm not going to stay too long. Like I said, I need to get on my job. But I did want to come in and commune with my people. I want to give a shout out to all my faithfuls. Make it happen, Manny. Bayou Bunnies News and Talk. And even Great Britain, who came in here to hate watch. What's up? Zach Stay Focused. Marcus Damone. Has She Put One? I hope I'm saying that correctly. Pretty Black Magic. And Mela. All the people that came in this morning, you guys are the real MVPs. I do know it is very early in the morning, and I appreciate you checking in. Please hit the like button on the way out. Share the video because that does keep me on top. And for anyone catching me on the replay, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And I'm out. Holla.